Hi, it's me Jacqueline. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to the channel, then please subscribe my channel and visit my Patreon page, link in the description. Vanessa and her mother sat on the sofa eating dinner, another day of cheeseburgers and french fries in front of the television. Vanessa felt guilty about getting Bobby in trouble. She was also bothered by the desire that she'd had to kiss Bobby. She never had the urge before, but after she finished applying the lipstick on him, he looked so cute and attractive. She wanted to kiss him. Until recently, Vanessa had been a tomboy. During the last year, she felt the need to change herself. She felt it important that she looked pretty. She did not have any close girlfriends with whom she felt she could share her new interest in makeup and fashion. She would have never considered Bobby if she hadn't seen him wearing the shapewear. Now, she could not stop thinking about Bobby. She wondered when they would be able to do it again. Becky stood in the living room, wondering how she could further humiliate Bobby. She wanted to post images of him on the internet. She wanted everyone to see what a sissy boy looked like. She realized to see her plan all the way through she would need to borrow a digital camera. She thought about him wearing the prom dress, how he made such a pretty sissy. She started to think of a title for her photograph, Bobby the Sissy. Pretty in pink. No, that sounded familiar. Then it came to her, a prim and proper prom queen. She said it to herself a few times, then grinned. I sat on my bed admiring my pink nails. I asked you to change, Mom stated, standing in my doorway. Sorry, I mumbled. Quit dawdling and get to it. I started to untie my sneakers. I found it delightful to watch my pink fingernails work the laces. Once you have your shapewear and undershorts on, call me, Mom told me. Okay. Mom walked away. Becky, does the red sheath dress from last year still fit you? It should, but it's outdated. Do me a favor and make sure it still fits you, then give it to Bobby. Sure, Mom. Becky was happy to help. Mrs. Stryckler went into her room and started searching through her bottom dresser drawer for her cincher. It had been 3 years since she'd last worn it. That was on her last date, which was to the Frock's New Year's party. She had hoped that George Pratt would be the one. She thought it might be her last chance for romance. He was, but not the way she expected. When she saw George eye Becky like a lecher, she decided to hold off on dating. Mom, I'm changed, I called out. She found the cincher under an old nightgown. She held it up and then removed the garter straps. Bobby wouldn't be wearing stockings just yet. Mrs. Stryckler shut her drawer. Becky, do you have the dress? She asked aloud as she walked to Bobby's room. In a sec, Becky responded. The red dress still fit her, however, it was not what she wanted Bobby to wear. She envisioned a frilly dress, a soft yellow dress with puffy sleeves and faux fur skirt, perhaps with a white bow in the back. A dress that a prissy little girl would be seen in skipping down the sidewalk, a true sissy's dress. Bobby, I have decided on your punishment, Mom stated, entering my room. Am I grounded? I sat on my bed under the covers. You are grounded for 2 weeks. During that time you will only wear dresses. Mom. She held her hand up to stop my protest, that is while in the house, not to school. I breathed a sigh of relief, not that I would have ever gone to school in a dress. And you will do Becky's chores. Mom, I understand the grounding, but why do I have to do her chores? She's the one who pulled my hair and tried to break my finger. We're not negotiating your punishment. I went to argue, but she cut me off. Here, this is for you. What is it? A cincher. Stand up so I can put it on you. What's it for? I asked without moving. To hold in your waist, she responded. Now, get out from under the covers. Becky listened to their conversation while she pulled the old pastel green sundress from her closet. The dress no longer fit her, however it was a better sissy dress than the red dress. From her dresser drawer, she pulled out a white chemise and then grabbed the red dress. Maybe the fatty should diet, Becky stated, squeezing past Mom into my room. She was carrying 2 dresses. What surprised me, she was only wearing a white shapewear and undergarments. The slut was half naked. She had no modesty. Becky. I thought Mom was as shocked as I was with Becky walking around in lingerie. Just joking. It didn't sound like it. Sorry, whined Becky. Here are your dresses, she said, hanging them on the wall hooks. The red dress fits, but the sundress is closer to my size. She turned and looked at me. I stayed under the covers. Apparently, Mom was not concerned with Becky walking around half-naked. I guess the shapewear and undergarments wasn't much different from wearing a bikini. Bobby, we're waiting, Mom stated. Just leave it on the bed, I'll put it on myself. Don't be silly, I'll help. Becky did her I care act. Mrs. Stryckler was happy to hear Becky being supportive. When she'd first considered encouraging Bobby to openly express his hidden desire to wear girls' lingerie, she worried how Becky would react. She now saw that she had nothing to worry about. The two may become close. Bobby, quit being so modest and stand up, Mom said. Becky grabbed the covers and pulled. Just pretend we're all girls here. I held onto the covers. I can do it myself. Fine, do it yourself. I'm only trying to help. Becky let go, raising her hands in defeat. Mom, I can dress myself. I was embarrassed to be seen wearing the shapewear and undergarments. Bobby, you get up from beneath those covers now, or Becky and I will yank you out. I could see Becky was enjoying my predicament. Okay, I said, standing. My bedroom is not much bigger than a walk-in closet, so when I stood I was against Becky. I was not trying to intimidate her. There was not enough room for the three of to stand. Becky looked me up and down but did not move. Her smug attitude was annoying. I went to stare her down, to let her know she was not better than me. She looked me in the eye and smiled. Your upper part are crooked. Oh, Bobby, you don't have your shapewear on correct. You have the strap all twisted. I told you yesterday how to wear your shapewear. Mom shook her head in disgust. Let me fix your shapewear. It is hard for a brother to intimidate his sister when he is being told by his mother that he is wearing his shapewear wrong. I dropped my head and slouched. Mom handed me the cincher to hold while she fixed my shapewear straps and shaped my upper part. When she finished shaping my upper part, she started fussing with my hair. I wanted to push her hand away but stood, accepting my fate. You can give me the cincher, I'll put it on you, Becky said. Reluctantly, I handed Becky the cincher. Mom thanked her for the help. I didn't believe that the tiny garment would ever fit around my waist. Becky wrapped it around my stomach. The fabric was cold, so I sucked at my stomach, a reflex action. Becky gave me encouragement. There you go, good, keep sucking it in. Then she told Mom, I think you must have worn one before. I went to turn around, to tell her, fuck you bitch. But she pulled hard on the cincher, driving her knuckles into my back. I straightened my back. I felt like I could not breathe. When she quit pushing and pulling, the cincher relaxed some, but little. There you go, Becky said. That's much better, Mom said. I can't breathe. You'll get used to it, Mom told me. I think he should wear the sundress, Becky said, taking the dress off the hook. That sounds good, Mom stated. I stood in silence. The cincher was too tight. I pushed out with my stomach muscles to create breathing room. As soon as I relaxed, the cincher constricted. Mom, I think this is too tight. You're fine, Bobby. Now quit your complaining and help us. Raise your arms up, Becky asked. I raised my arms. This is a chemise, she told me, slipping it over my head. The chemise felt weightless. Like the cincher, the fabric was cold. There was something about the fabric. I never felt anything so soft. The chemise also had a faint smell of Becky's perfume. A strange emotion came from donning the chemise. I never felt it before. It was a mixture of being thrilled, delighted, and proud. Any reluctance I felt earlier was gone. Do I step into the dress, or does it slip on? I hoped donning the dress would add to the experience. Not that I thought it was possible. The experience was already heavenly. It's best to step in. Becky held the dress in front of me. I went to take the dress from her. I can dress myself. I'll hold the dress for you. You'll rip it if you're not careful. It was obvious she was not going to give me the dress. I stepped into the dress holding onto her shoulder, thanks. Mrs. Stryckler watched her daughter and son, pleased with how they were getting along. They still bickered some, but Becky did offer to help and Bobby did thank her. Becky pulled the dress up while I slid my arms through the sleeves. The dress fell into place. Becky spoke softly, turn around, so I zip you up. I saw her smile as I turned. I needed to suck my stomach in slightly so she could pull the zipper up. The dress was a skin-tight fit. I ran my hands along the bodice.
It was hard for me to understand. It was as if the dress was magical. I felt transformed. I now had a feminine figure. I was overcome with joy. Mrs. Streichler saw his joy. My, aren't you pretty? I blushed. Let me see, Becky asked. I turned to show her. The skirt swirled as I turned, then it caressed my legs as it settled into place. I liked the feeling. I wanted to twirl around again. You are pretty in a dress, Becky stated. I wanted to believe she was being sincere, but I had trouble trusting her. Bobby, help me make dinner, Mom asked. I twirled around to face her. Sure, Mom. I'll get dressed, Becky said, pushing me forward so she could leave my room. I followed Mom into the kitchen. The previous night wearing undershorts under my pants was tantalizing. Now, wearing them with a dress was unbelievable. With every step, I felt a new sensation. I had the urge to do pirouettes down the hall. I needed to keep my excitement under control. It was difficult for me to pay attention to Mom's instructions on how to prepare dinner. Luckily, all the instructions were printed on the package. Preheat the oven, remove the plastic top, and set the timer. I didn't need instructions on how to cook the can of corn. I knew how to do that. While the turkey dinner was cooking, Mom taught me the proper way to set the table. I found helping in the kitchen thoroughly enjoyable with every step and turn I made. Well, Bobby, you're becoming a regular Susie homemaker, Mom told me. A what? A Susie homemaker, she looked at me. That was a term my old home economics teacher used. Just then Becky walked into the kitchen. I found an old pair of pumps that might fit you. Becky is 3 years older than I am, but we are about the same size. Here, try them on, she told me, holding the shoes out for me to take. I slowly took them from her, unsure if I should. It was odd. When I took the shoes, I was struck with guilt. The enjoyment I had received from the dress was replaced with concern. Perhaps it was the way Becky looked at me, but I started questioning what I was doing. Go ahead and try them on, Becky said. I sat on the kitchen chair and dropped the shoes to the floor. I heard her words and more. I heard her tone. Go ahead, sissy boy. Bobby. That is no way for a young lady to sit, Mom told me. Stand up. Slowly, I stood, thinking about what Mom just called me, a young lady. When you sit, you tuck your skirt, she showed me. I sat down, tucking my dress just as Mom instructed. I had hoped that I would be overcome with a new sensation. But nothing happened. When I bent over to put on the white pumps, I hoped that the joy I felt a few seconds ago would return. Still, nothing happened. All I felt was the shoes were too tight. I had doubts about who I was and what I was doing. Becky, do they use the term Susie homemaker in school? Mom asked. Never heard of it. Why? I was just telling Bobby he was becoming a regular Susie homemaker. He didn't know what I was talking about either. A Susie homemaker, isn't that sweet? Becky teased. There was a knock on the front door. I'll get it, Becky said, running to the door.
Please subscribe for the next part and visit my Patreon page for early access.